I think we're on the air. Henry.
I see you, Don.
Yeah, good to see you again. You're in Les Sables d'Olonne. You've got a fantastic Cape George 36. It seems to be extremely well prepared. How do you feel?
I feel fantastic. Can't wait to get going. Yeah, it's the end of a long journey to be here.
Yeah.
And it's just really exciting to be, 10 days away from departure?
Yeah.
So starting to look at those charts and get that tingle in my bones. So yeah, it's great.
That's cool. So you've done your safeties?
Yeah, I'm all squared with the safety checks, and now it's just sort of getting the final provisioning left and all of those little bits and pieces. I'm starting to think about which way I'm going. There hasn't really been much chance to think about how I'm going to sail this race yet. So that's good. It's good to be in a position where you've satisfied all of those rules and now you're starting to think about how you're going to go about it.
Yeah. What about all the other boats? What do you think? What other skippers and stuff?
I think that the boats are fantastically set up. And of course, like every time you do the Golden Globe, this is the 3rd edition now, every time you do it, there's more information about what could happen, and the boats I think will get better and better every time you run it.
Yeah.
And I think that hopefully we'll see lots of finishes this time.
Yeah.
But people seem to be really well prepared.
So the prologue, you're pretty hot to trot. You're right behind Damien going through there, Andrea behind you and stuff like that. Was that fun?
Yeah, it was a great race. First time I've ever raced a sailing boat.
Really?
Yeah, I've never been in a race before.
Okay.
But she's a machine. She's a really quick boat.
Yeah.
Those rustlers is interesting. The rustlers upwind or on a lighter res have got the legs of me because they've got lower wetted surface area.
Yeah.
But then when you come onto a bit of more pressure on a beat or something like that, then she can really extend. And so it's going to be a fascinating battle about how we sort of go about it down in the Southern Ocean and all that.
Yeah, usually later in the interview I'll say something like, you're a racer, cruiser or an adventurer, but I think you're clearly a racer, right? Are you happy with the boat in terms of if you had unlimited money and unlimited time, would have you had something extras, or you reckon you got what you want?
I mean, you never finish, right? You never finish fitting the boat out, and there's always something else you could have done, but I'm super happy with the boat. I mean, she's really robust.
Yeah.
She's starting to feel clean. There's that point in a refit or a preparation where suddenly things start to go into their right places and she starts to clear out and you start to feel happier, and I'm really at that point now. There's always more stuff I could have done, but the vast majority of what I wanted to get done I've done. And none of that's to do with racing, it's to do with making sure she gets around. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's all about robustness, really.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm going to pinch the camera from Jane, so I'll say goodbye. And let's talk about the boat. Let's start the sharp end, because it's very impressive, I've got to say. It's not only just a Cape George 36, it's a really well prepared Cape George. So the story with the boat, you bought it a couple of years ago and you've sailed it a lot, and you've done a refit, but she was pretty good from day one, eh? Hang on a sec, where'd you find it? We just thought Jane's phone went missing, but anyway.
She was in great nick when I bought her, but she was in great sort of structural nick, but she was really well set up as a cruiser. But there are a lot of things which for me weren't right for a sort of a non-stop round the world, which, as you know, is a very different endeavour. So I would be able to be satisfied that her hull was sound, and also she had a great mast that was fairly recently done. So all of those basic points were in there, and I could just start from a really good basis to get her to where I wanted to be. But she's also quite smart, probably smarter than she needs to be for this, with all the varnish and everything, which is a bit of a hassle. But she does look cracking, so I'm pretty pleased.
Okay.
But yeah,
so you're just running. Have you got a secret, maybe a stay in here, like a secret wire, or you just got the one furling head sail?
So she's got the Yankee jib at the end of the bowsprit there, with a Harken furler, and then I've put a furling gear on the staysail as well. So it really allowed me to go through the gears, even when I'm basically from the cockpit. My whole philosophy with the boat has been bringing everything back to the cockpit. I think she's quite an exposed boat up top. And so I prefer to do things from the cockpit where possible. So yeah, really those two sails, you can go pretty fast with those. And I've got my secret weapons really. I've got some light wind sails that go up the furler, and obviously the asymmetric spinnaker, which some people might have seen on the prologue. She can really get going.
So have you got a wing and wing sail up there?
I have. I've got a twin runner with single luff, double sided. My problem really is actually it's such a nightmare getting the sails off that furler, and so rather than changing sails for the conditions on the day, it's probably going to look a bit more like having the right sails for the area I'm in. So I might put on my light wind sail out, for instance, for the doldrums, and then put the heavyweight Yankee back on for the Southern Ocean, just because it's a sort of day's job to get one off and get it folded up. And then that twin runner, I'm hoping the Southern Ocean, twin poles out, and I'm just going to be able to run with that. But we'll have to see. No one knows what the conditions are going to be like with the Super El Nino, so we'll have to see what goes on.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So everything is pretty much standard Cape George 36 up here, teak decks and twin poles. Is that your J on that?
Yeah, so that's full J. So the J length on this is enormous.
It's huge,
and actually because the Yankees clued so far back, they're very long.
Yeah.
But the so this is mainly standard, but the poles are new, and the stowage arrangement I've arranged, and also you can see those black lines there they're permanently fitted preventers. So one of them's for the preventer and the other one's for the spinnaker pole downhaul. So they're sort of that's really good because I can do that all from the cockpit.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a good arrangement.
And that was standard hatch, or you
No, I refitted the hatch. Yeah, they had an original hatch from 1990, and it's got to be watertight. You don't want to be messing around with leaks, so I put a new one on.
Yeah. So you got all the mainsail handling gear going back there, and spinnaker halyards as well, or just?
So the spinnaker halyard can go either. So I can raise the spinnaker from the front or the back.
Yeah.
Ultimately, if the weather's all right, I'll probably raise it from the front because I can just handle the boat easier.
Yeah.
But I've got the facility, I've got the space to take it back, and then all of the mainsail. I mean, the whole point of this system is that I can reef really fast from my protected watchkeeping position, and I can put in a reef or shake out a reef in about 25-30 seconds. And that just means you can always have the right amount of main up. And with this boat, she's sort of such a long boom. It's a 5 metre long boom. She's very mainsail dominant, so the trim is really important. You always want to have exactly the right amount of sail on that boom. Yeah. So it's important to be able to reef quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm with you with running it back to the cockpit. It's safer, it's quicker, and you stay dry. You can rush out and do something without gearing up.
But also, I'm lucky. You need. It's quite a lot of real estate you need to actually get it back. And I know that there are some other boats in the race where actually it wouldn't really be possible.
Yeah.
Because you've got to have double line reefing. You've got to have a tack line, a clue line for every reef, and I've got 4 reefs. So,
I've got 4 reefs.
Yeah, so I've got 16 lines coming back.
Yeah.
So it's quite busy.
Yeah. And this was this rig on the boat, the mast.
So the mast is 2019, and it's kind of about 2 sizes above the recommended mast, so it's heavier.
No, it looks right. Yeah.
I changed the boom because I originally had the Selden gooseneck and gooseneck bracket.
Yeah.
And I identified that early as a bit of a single point of failure. It was cast aluminium, so I've got this welded forged aluminium one, which is obviously a lot more robust because that's one of the if the gooseneck goes, it's game over. And so I wanted a good one.
Yeah.
And
this your vang fitting is the same, so you could swap it if it broke. on the mast there, that looks exactly the same.
The vang fitting is the same, but of course not as vital because if the vang goes, I just take it off and
exactly.
use
but
a
if
kicker.
your gooseneck failed on the mast bit, you could swap them over. That's what I did in the BOC.
Oh well, yeah. Sorry, if the piece itself breaks, I can just one for one.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which is a really cool thing to have.
So,
So that's all right.
Well, if you're gonna spend the money and the time, then it's good to have something.
I've got to say that a few people had fun with solid vangs. Turn them inside out when the boom hits the water.
Anyway. You've got to be careful with the preventers and everything.
Yeah.
And then this is a big sort of item is that
the modern version of.
Well, I had a nice teak butterfly hatch which I'll keep. I've still got, and I'll put it back on the boat, but it leaked, and so I fabricated this fiberglass one from scratch.
Yeah.
And that just means that I'm totally waterproof. It's a bit less windage and everything.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of going down south with glass on the boat.
No.
And so I've got rid of that teak.
Well, she certainly looks pretty shipshape. And I've got to say the colour scheme is very impressive.
It's a bit bright, isn't it? It's a bit garish.
No, it's really cool. Yeah. I mean, it's, even for cruising boat, you won't have to repaint the boat. Now, this is dynamite. Your Dodger is just awesome.
Yeah.
Tell us the story. I mean, you told me yesterday, but let's recap.
Well, I don't want to reopen our wounds. So I was going to do a hard Dodger, but because of the windage, you've taken a decision that we're not to have them. So the philosophy remained the same, which is that I think it's vital to have a protected watchkeeping position downstairs. To keep you away from the weather, and you see a lot of the other boats have gone for like a little submarine hatch, which keeps you very safe in a survival level storm, which is great. But 99% of the time, you're just going to be in the wind and the rain, and you want to protect from that. So I've got this. She's quite big. I've taken a bit of a windage penalty, but once you put the back on, she's quite aerodynamic from both directions. So I think I'll probably keep this up into 50 or 60 knots. If it starts to get more tasty than that, she'll probably come down. So she's collapsible, but with a screwdriver.
It's very, very impressive. Yeah.
But it's so critical to be comfortable, because if you're comfortable, you're not fatigued.
Just for those that didn't see the pictures in the previous random place spots, just explain where the extension comes out to at the back there.
So the extension comes out to
back
back here.
This bloody fish is distracting me.
Okay.
Look at this bloody fish here. He's a monster mullet. Hang on. Can you check him out? He's about 2 foot long.
Don, you're wasted. Anyway. You're wasted as a sailing guy.
Sorry, I'm a serious interviewer here. I'm a journalist, Anyway.
No, so it comes back to here. But to be honest, I usually at sea, I just let it hang
Yeah.
And so I can use it, because as soon as I bring it back here, it's actually quite hard to work the boat.
Yep.
But yeah, it keeps me nice and protected, and I'll sleep up here in the cockpit.
Stand by. I'm just moving down the back here just to show you how it goes. So it's more sophisticated than John Luke had. He was the first one to do these sort of extensions, but you've got like a whole sunroom there when it happens.
Yeah, I mean, it comes all the way down, but to be honest, I'll only really put it all the way down when there's wind coming the other way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll just let it hang. And it just keeps me dry, and you know, having somewhere where you can sleep and do your business up here, where you're not in foul weather gear, it's just so vital. And I'll I've got this cushion, so I can sleep across here, and until we're beyond the Lanzarote photo gate, I expect to be up here, because there's going to be so many fishing boats and stuff. We're not going to be able to go downstairs and get a proper sleep. So I'll kip up here until I get offshore properly, and then I go down below.
This hatch, you stuck that in, didn't you? The cockpit.
No, I replaced it. So this is an engine hatch. It goes down to the engine bay. The last one leaked a bit, and these are Lloyd's approved watertight hatches, and so it really needs to do the business. And so I replaced this as a Hercules, which is a British brand. So yeah,
that's cool.
I replaced that, and
that's cool. Stay here. I'm just going to talk about all this armoury here of all clutches and bits and pieces. It looks, everything looks right, eh?
It's a bit messy at the moment, I'm afraid. But the basically, everything just comes through these clutches to the 2 winches, and then I've got the window up there, so I can see the mast when I'm reefing. But what happens is, when I'm reefing, all of the lines come out into the floor. I reef nice and quickly, and I've got these nice big halyard bags. I know it sounds really minor point, but the fact you can then just clear it all away again and be in a happy place and a nice clean bit of feng shui is actually good. So no, this is a really nice working environment.
That's cool. I can really relate to this. I would sail this boat when you're finished, It's okay. So were these the original winches and stuff, or you upgraded?
So these are the original winches. I raised the coaming a bit. The coaming was actually this height all the way around. Right. So I raised the coaming a bit because it was quite a shallow cockpit with no protection. So I had to move the winches back. And I installed this big tulip block. So I can turn all of the lines, because previously you had to sort of bring them from out down there, which wasn't great. So actually I've now got this really great arrangement. I've got the running backstays on the secondary, and then my Yankee sheet on the primary. And of course, if I have a spinnaker, I can use either of them. And I can also cross deck them if I need to, but I mean, I don't see why.
That all works.
And then at the back, I've got the...
so look at that, that's your main sheet, dual main sheet, but that's your normal resting position for the main sheet, right back there.
So I've got the bridle arrangement, but what I'll do is I've got these heavy duty clips, so as the boom, so they just come off the boom there. So as the boom...
They're about the right size.
As the boom comes through, I'll actually drop the leeward sheet will get just taken off.
Hey mate.
Because there's a direct line between the windward sheet and the boom being all the way out. So that's the way to do it. And I've actually, the attachment points, so those are the backing plates for the Seadro plates.
Ah, right.
So it's like a nice efficient arrangement. I'm getting lots done with those.
So you got straps on the hull for the drogue.
Yeah, exactly. So
you got what drogue have you got?
I've got a Jordan Series drogue from Ocean Break. Cool. I've had 3 from those guys. They're great. Cool. But a nice heavy duty one.
So a massive tiller, eh? But it's a huge rudder.
Well, it's a 2.5 metre tiller. Really heavy loads on this tiller, even though it's so long.
That's the main centric sailor plan as well.
But of course, you know how it is. You have people on board the boat go, "Oh, this is the tiller," and you push and pull it. And so, well, actually, the tiller's tied up now. This is the position the tiller's going to be in for the whole race. It's just,
exactly.
It's centralised, and I think it probably gives you more waterline as well. I think that's why. I mean, this boat has exceeded her hull speed in non-surfing conditions consistently, and I think it's because the tiller gives you another bit, because it shouldn't be possible, right? But it does seem to be.
There's a couple of unique aspects to this whole design which we won't go into, but what I will say is to watch the bow wave. It's like a square rig ship. There's so much buoyancy up there, and I'll tell the story. I say it often. It's a classic example where Kirsten had the stain of the bow wave up on the bow, which you just never see that on any other boat. It's the buoyancy.
Well, I had to say, they always say keep the weight out of the bows. When she's not got equipment on her, but I fill all of the tanks, she is 6 inches higher at the bow than the stern.
Yeah.
And because of exactly what you said, she's got really buoyant bow.
Oh, it's unbelievable. So it's like the old style version of a scow bow.
Yeah.
But it looks classic. Anyway, we won't go there. That might be top secret information for those with a Cape George.
It's going to be too late for this race, Don. Like, if someone wants to buy a new boat in 10 days, good luck to them.
Yeah, there's some unique aspects to this design, but it's also the sailor and the sails and blah, blah, blah. It's not just the boat. That's how it works. Okay, everything's pretty normal there. You must have the super coax for your HF antenna there because it's strapped on the backstay.
Yeah,
is that fancy stuff?
Yeah, but so the guy did it for me in the UK is a specialist, and he actually said that it's kind of unnecessary to start putting it off the backstay.
Yeah.
Whatever you use, but that is also the super coax, the sort of high resistance stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a fairly good signal off it.
Yep. Okay.
So yeah, it's good.
Pretty clean down the back. You've got the basics. You've got the.
I've got the. Well, if you come 3 days ago, you would have seen all of the GPS stuff. Clearly, I've just done the safety inspection. It's all come off now. Yep. So all I've really got is working from starboard to port. I've got the Weatherfax active antenna there.
Yeah, that one there.
And then below it, that's the emergency HF.
Emergency HF.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's an active antenna for the HF.
Oh, that's cool.
And then
you can strap it on the side of the stainless like that, and it still works.
It's absolutely fine. Yeah.
That's cool. I haven't seen that.
And then because it's bouncing anyway. Yep. And then the emergency VHF.
Yep.
And the YB tracker, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
Because you keep us pretty light on the technology, philosophy of the race, and all that.
Yep. No, very good. Hydrovane.
Yeah.
How many spare parts are you carrying?
I'm carrying a spare hydrovane.
Whole set, yeah.
And 3 spare vanes.
Yeah, and you sell it if you don't use it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things like, it's ridiculously extravagant, but then if you fail because your hydrovane breaks, then
I know.
You spend a lot on the campaign and save a bit of money on the hydrovane, so it's worth it.
It's called evolution. Some of them are strapping 2 on everywhere, but that's another story.
Well, I mean, that's because last time, Simon was doing very, very well.
Yeah.
And, really pushing pushing Kirsten.
Yeah.
And then his hydrovane broke, and everyone looked at that and thought, well, I don't want that to happen to me. So I think that's what's happened there.
All right. Yep, let's go for a tour down below.
Should we have a look below? Yeah.
Yep. So you got 2 compasses up here. The main one, contested.
I've got 3 actually. So I like sitting here in the captain's seat. So I've got a little one here. I've got my main one here, and then I've taken an instrument panel out of here. Because I'm no electrics anymore, so that's getting covered with another proper compass.
Yep.
Because it's nice to be able to see it from both sides.
Yeah.
And of course, like knowing where you're going is so key on this.
Excuse me, you'll have to have a bend. You won't fit across there because you're about 7'6".
Well, people say that, Don, but you may have noticed from your own sleeping is that you don't sleep at attention.
Yeah,
and also when you're on a boat, sleeping in the fetal position stops you rolling around. So
yeah, exactly. No, that's cool.
It's not too bad.
Very good. This is a really cool boat. There's no question about that. Anyway, let's come down here. All good. Okay. Boom. Now, some of you may have seen the pictures before, but I've got perfectly normal headroom in this boat, and you can stand up in between the beams of the.
I'm not doing it again for you, Don. I'm not a monkey. I'm not for entertainment.
Anyway, a quick view from back here. I mean, classic. There's a lot to be said for having a comfortable environment psychologically, because you're going to be on the boat for 7 months, 8 months.
I mean,
this is a beauty.
She's a beautiful boat. So previous owners. Scott and Peter who ended before, and she was originally built. They were all built up in the Pacific Northwest, but she was just fitted out beautifully. And I mean, you see all this carving and stuff. So, I've not really altered the down here very much. I mean, there's some obvious changes which I'll point out, but she's pretty much as was. I made a few alterations to the chart table, so I can have a full length chart draw, which is just really nice. And I made the chart table bigger so I could get a full-size Admiralty chart on it.
Did you do the chart table?
That
looks good.
I had to get a professional because this is proper teak woodwork, and I mean I can do most things, but not proper woodwork. And I could have made it workmanlike, but ultimately I want to protect the value of the boat as well, and keep her aesthetic. So it would have been a shame to come down here with fiberglass and marine ply,
Absolutely, she looks stunning.
Although this was my father. This woodwork was my father with wood from the Forest of Dean in Gloucestershire.
Your mum and dad are still around, obviously.
Yeah, no,
because your mum's your manager.
Yeah, privateer. Well, my dad's my technical manager, and my mum's my administrative manager.
Yeah.
They're great support.
That's cool. I mean, it's an important line, this whole issue of keeping the value of the boat there, because that's one of the benefits of a production boat race.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get your capital out of it.
But then, there's swings and roundabouts. So if you buy a cheap boat, you can do what you like to her. If you buy an expensive boat, then you've got to keep her in good nick, 'cause otherwise you destroy her. But pretty much what I've done is all of the electrics and the plumbing's ripped out and done again by me.
Yep.
And then, but most of the furniture is pretty much as was.
Okay. So where are you going to sleep?
So this is the main berth here, and you'll see. I'll show you. I've got these big
boards.
These big lee boards here, which are just fantastic. They produce a real coffin berth.
Yeah.
And you just can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is that it means on the other side, that's really good for storage. I mean, those of you who sail will know that, like, just being able to shove something somewhere and not having to strap it down is a real boon. So, and this is super comfortable on both tacks. Yeah. So to be honest, I probably won't bother stacking one side. I'll probably just sleep on that side, regardless of what tack.
Stacking being moving the weights in the boat. For those that don't know, it's illegal under the rules.
It's legal.
Weights, but
legal.
Yeah, stacking inside the boat. You can stack whatever you want inside the boat.
Oh right, yeah. So I thought you said illegal.
No, legal. yeah, it's legal.
But to be honest, I'm only going to have 30 or 40 kilograms on one side. In a 13.5-ton boat, it's going to make a difference.
Yeah. You got a good wrist system there with all the buckets and bits.
Yeah, I mean, I did have the boat completely full with these hard boxes. No, this is all my books.
Reading books.
70 kilograms of books.
Japers.
These are all my tapes. Well, getting boards are real.
I know you're still working. Are they got anything to do with work? We've been in the army and everything. No, it's all pleasure.
These are all for pleasure.
That's cool.
And then I've got these are all my these are all my radio lists and stuff. So I could probably take the relevant information out of those, but to be honest,
I know.
The nice thing about a 13-ton boat is you don't have to sweat every kilogram.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because life's too short, really.
Yeah.
And then
you got a heated towel rack.
Oh,
that's pretty
John,
impressive.
let me show you this.
Hey?
This is the bit of the boat I'm most excited about. So I'll talk you through it. The Wootton C hydro generator generates too much power.
Yeah.
When it fills the battery up, you have to take it out or it becomes damaged.
Yeah.
Or you have a dump load.
Yeah.
And I found these DC immersion meters, and it's just full of water and anti-corrosive stuff. And when it gets full, there's little like old-fashioned relay that will click on and heat the towel rails.
Fantastic.
And I've got one in the wet locker as well, so it means I can have dry gloves.
Don't tell too many people.
Well, you don't.
That's really cool.
You don't give us enough fuel to be like using the engine for heat.
Yeah.
And if you've done like 3 months in the wet, you can have nothing dry.
Yeah.
So actually, a little bit of heat to dry your gloves is going to be huge on morale.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very slick. Okay.
I'm taking the weight penalty of those.
This is a big water tank.
This is just the reserve water tank.
Reserve water, yeah.
I'm pretty good actually. I've got 3 200-litre tanks underneath the cabin soles.
Yeah.
So 600 litres, and this for 700. And I'll use this for a couple of things. Like I can also very easily filter rainwater into here.
Yeah.
And also you don't want to be putting rainwater in your main tanks. No. I can just use this as a bit of a reserve tank.
That's cool.
I actually had this for my previous boat. It's been sitting around my parents' house. Yeah. And now I found a use for it. It's like when you find a use for that piece of wood you've been keeping for months.
Okay. So we're up the sharp end
and up
now.
here we've got... I mean, you can see it's an old-fashioned seaboat, right? Because there's no double bed or anything nonsense like that. It's just tool station, sail stowage, and then ahead of the sails there's the waterproof bulkhead.
Yeah.
And then there's a wet locker in here with another radiator and a little shelf.
Yeah.
Designed by my technical manager.
Is that 12 volt as well?
Yep, it's all DC. Yeah.
Japers, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So it really is a wet locker.
Yeah.
And there's a tool chest here, or just
so obviously this will all go into here when it comes to it. But we'll be doing last minute jobs until we go. And then on the back here, I've got all of the messages from family and friends, so saying good luck, which is fun.
Spin this around. There you go.
Which is awesome.
Yep, that's cool.
So when I'm sitting on the John, I'll be able to keep morale up.
Yep, that's cool. Look, there I get my free shot of Jane. Look at that. Oh, I got you, Jane. Okay, so you go past me this way, and I'll get another view from this end. It's quite long, when you're here. It's actually quite an open plan,
Yeah, well, I think trying to keep the volume down, like it's not nice living in a sort of kit everywhere. There'll be an element of that, but I'm going to try and get everything away where I can.
Yeah. Okay.
So and this is
talk us through this lot here.
Station. Yeah. So we've got the main electrical panels underneath the companionway, but this is the nav electrical panel.
Yeah.
VHF, EchoMax. That's not on at the moment, but EchoMax active. Radar receiver. Cool. MF and HF radio. AAS alarm. Independent SSB receiver for time signals and what have you. and just like various USBs. I actually just got these out. I just got given these by Arno's friend.
Oh yeah.
These are ferrites to make this receive a bit better. I'm getting some interference.
Yeah.
So that's good.
That's cool. You got the seal alarm there.
Yeah, seal alarm back there, and then my sextants, and clearly like this will all change a bit. I need to, I'll have a plan before I go. Ultimately, I'll probably have reorganised it all by the time I get to Lanzarote.
Where's your killer alarm?
The killer alarm's just here.
Is that me? Oh, jeepers. Hang on. That's, hang on. I've got to turn it off. I'm just on doing a live, Ada. See ya. Everyone knows Ada.
This is the killer alarm here, but I don't think it's quite obnoxious.
Yeah, come on, give us a spiel. Where's the squealer?
The squealer is so loud that it's behind there.
This is the guy alarm. Oh, it's not so bad. Okay, that'll do. Sorry, I should have given a strobe warning then for everyone watching. Okay, so that's good. It works.
But yeah, this is sort of this is
where it's going to happen.
Where it's going to happen, and then behind you we've got the.
So you got the weather facts there, and you got bits, another compass.
And I tell you what, that's been working fantastically.
Good.
Like getting a synoptic chart off that, and actually I think I'm not taking sort of a print out of all of the possible stations. I'm taking all of the books.
Yeah.
And I think we won't be surprised how much we can get from places like Chile. That's coming from up top actually.
All right.
And then we've got the galley. So I'm mainly going to work.
Best stove in the world.
Yeah, the
That's
Origo
what I used in
3000.
'99. They're fantastic.
Yeah, I sort of had to manufacture a gimbal, but to be honest, I'm going to use sterile pouches.
Yeah.
And so I'll be able to do them in a water bath.
You got the big one. This is the same one I use.
Yeah, this
because
is
you can adjust the temperature. The others you got to have full bore.
Yeah, you can, but also there's space in it for a pouch. Without it being completely full. I expect I'll use the jet boil most of the time.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
And I mean, that's
double sinks. Geez, you're organised. I think I tipped you off. We were coming. Usually, first thing I check down below is everyone's sink. It's full of crap. You're organised.
I'm pretty organised at the moment.
That's cool.
No, I mean, we're sort of at that stage at the moment where we're the inspection's done, and now we're just getting all the provisions
ready.
And and then at some point, probably in the last week, there's going to be a big get everything out on the dock. Repack the boat, write it all down where it is, because it's going to be like you're not going to know where everything is. You're going to need that one little part, and it could be anywhere.
Controversial subject. Life raft down below. You've got to pass the 60-second rule now, so you're looking fine there.
That's pretty straightforward. I've got myself a knife right here.
That's cool.
And then back there, so these are quarter berths, but they're a long way behind the point of rotation and above the waterline, so they're quite uncomfortable. So they're just storage for me. But they go all the way back. There's no cockpit lockers in this boat.
Okay, well let's sit down because I'm going to talk for 10 minutes about you and
of course.
you and your life because it's kind of interesting. Scrap that. Well, hang on. You sit down at the chart table.
No, it's fine.
Okay. All right. You sit there, and I'll sit here.
It's no bad thing that they're hard to take out, of course.
Yep. No worries. So the interesting thing here is when you look at people and why they do it and all that sort of stuff. You're actually full-time army. What rank are you in the army?
I'm a major.
You're a major in the army, and the army, for whatever reason, decided this is adventure training, and you're still literally on the payroll.
Well, it's not adventure training, so it's sport because ultimately it's a race. So they've decided it's a good thing for them to be supporting. So very kindly, they sort of got behind me. I'd planned this for 2 or 3 years ago, and it sort of came to a head about 6 months ago, where I sort of had to go and say, well, look, I'd like to do this, and would you like to sort of let me go? And they said yes. So it's great
because that's part of the thing. The reason Jane and I supported adventure and all this sort of stuff is that we believe it's good for people. Like it changes people. It's life defining. Life. There's so many things about it, and it inspires a lot of people. So I'm sure you can have a lot of people in the army that are going to be wondering what the hell are you doing.
Well, no, I hope so. And the army has historically been really supportive of all sorts of adventure and also all sorts of sport. There's loads of like Olympians and stuff who've been members of the army or elite sportsmen.
Akachay Blythe as well, of course.
Yeah, exactly. There's a long history of it, and I think it's good for everyone. It's good for me. It's good for the army, and I suspect when I've been 300 days at sea, I'll probably be quite keen to go back to an army job and just sort of be normal again.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us a bit about you. Like, how come you're here now doing this race? Forget about the sailing. What's your life been, or how long have you been in the army?
So I've been in the army since 2012, so 14 years.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So were you adventurous before? You were sailing before?
No, so I started sailing in 2019.
Yeah.
So I just I bought a small boat on the south coast of the UK, sailed her for a bit, decided I wanted to sail to New Zealand via the Pacific.
Yeah.
So I took a break off the army that time.
Yeah, that's
bought
right.
a little boat, did it up, and sailed to New Zealand. And halfway through that, my mate had to go, so I did the rest of it solo. Which is what
you went down to Pitcairn, didn't you?
Yeah. So I went from Ecuador, Pitcairn, Tahiti, and then all the way through, Melanesia and Polynesia down to New Zealand.
That was some of your first videos, and I was going to throw in a plug for your video channel, Secret Hippo or something.
Intrepid Hippo, yeah.
Intrepid Hippo, because you did 2 episodes of this boat coming across the Atlantic.
3.
Three,
yeah.
And I got to tell everyone, it's worth watching. They're fantastic videos.
I think people are listening to you, Don, because I've noticed that there's a lot more comments and views since you last.
Well, yeah, no, you got to plug it. It's fantastic. Because I watch a lot of them, other shows, and I really enjoyed your bloody story. It was fantastic.
Well, it's funny that I only do these things because you got to put the footage together for your family to watch.
Yeah.
But YouTube's a good place to put it up for them to watch it, and then 250,000 people watch it, and you're blimey.
I'll personally recommend it. So give it a go, and we'll see more on the way through. Anyway, so that's all pretty cool. Okay, so what triggered you was it during that trip on the boat you learned about the GGR, and then?
So no, I'd actually found out about the GGR just before I'd gone on that trip, because I had a friend of my brother's when I ran my brother's stag do, had told me that he had almost gone on the first one,
right,
or possibly the second one, and he'd even identified a boat, but then had mentioned it to his wife, his lovely wife, who said no.
Oh right, okay, that's important. But you don't have a wife, so
no, I don't know. So yeah, I think I knew about it before I went, but then I ended up on that trip. I ended up doing such a large part of it solo, and I ended up at sea for sort of 60 days or so.
Yeah.
In my sort of longest passage, and I just realised that once I got into that rhythm, I really, really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And the great thing about that was that it's quite it's just being at sea on your own, having that self-reliance, and it's. Sorry, Jane. You're just...
It's a bit of everything. Jane's here distracting poor Henry.
Sorry.
Now, there she goes. There she goes.
Sorry.
Anyway, but
it was just I had that chance to do those big long solo journeys.
Yeah.
And I just realised that I could do it, even though I had no qualifications at the time.
Yeah.
That it was less about how well you sailed or trim the sails, and it was more about your self-reliance, your ability to plan against emergencies, all of which there's this crossover with what I do professionally.
Describe the GGR as a challenge for you in segments, like in sort of like subjects, the GGR.
Well, as you go through it, chronologically or like thematically.
Yeah, whatever you like,
So I think, I expect there to be a graft getting out of the Bay of Biscay.
Yeah.
And then I think that you're really going to have to, that first 2 weeks, settling into being on your own, getting through the euphoria of the start, the depression of being on your own, and probably a little bit of seasickness for me. And then, once you're really out into the ocean, you've got this sort of long loneliness that you've got to overcome, keep yourself busy. But even then, in the Atlantic, I expect it to be quite pleasant. Relatively speaking, it's going to be quite pleasant until we get round Isle of Trinidad and down to the Southern Ocean. And then you've just got this sort of 3 or 4 month haul where the conditions could be awful for weeks and weeks. There's no one to talk to. And so then we're really into like the mental fortitude stage of the race, where it's being able to keep going and keep on that mission, even though it's pretty disgusting. And I think it's that mental part. It's the mental part of it, and the engineering and practical part of it that's so interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think that the best sailor is necessarily going to win the race.
No, I agree.
I think there's an awful lot of luck involved for a start, because there could be there's a wave out there with your name on it probably, and you just got to avoid it.
Yeah.
A wave with 100 tons of water could do a lot of damage, and you just got to dodge it.
I call it the holes. I distinctly remember looking out the porthole. You're sitting there for days and days. You spend a lot of time down below, and it's not so much the waves going up; it's when they cross over. You look at these holes. They go down. But anyway, that's another story. Okay, so I firmly believe you got a very good perspective on all of this, probably because of who you are and what you do in the normal world, being in the army and everything. But where's the biggest fun factor for you? Besides the challenge and the adventure, what's the spark?
I think that's where all the fun is for me, Don. I'm not a massive sailor. I enjoy it, but I sailed last time I went sailing because you can only go to the islands in the South Pacific and Pitcairn. You've got to have your own boat. That was the attraction.
Yeah.
The attraction for me here is the challenge. Being one of the 220 odd people who've done it ever. That's the challenge.
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be days on the boat where the sun's out, the dolphins are there, it's beautiful, you're on a lovely beat, and you're just eating some pasta or having a drink, and it's great.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be a lot more days where it's going to be really grim.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm expecting the worst.
Yeah.
And hoping for the best. And I think it's going to be a real graft.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be 300 or 250 days of grind.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing to stop yourself from suffering from boredom? Because it's a big issue. You get a lot of time. So
I've got a load of books.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that I feel like you just turn your brain down a bit.
Yeah.
Just turn my brain down to sort of 80% capacity, and you just.
I like that line.
I just sort of vegetate up there, and on land you're like, if you lie around for too long, you think I'm being really lazy here. But you know what it's like at sea, like you're always a little bit fatigued because of just existing.
That's exactly right.
And I just lie there, and actually the main problem with me is to make sure that in the race the difference is I'm trying to go as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So I don't want to leave it another 10 minutes before shake the reef out or whatever.
Yeah.
And also it's such a long thing that I can't sort of take it for granted that all of my split pins are still in. I have to go and check it every morning. So there is a bit more of a rhythm and a routine that I'm going to apply to this than I would have previously. But also, you know what it's like sailing with GPS. Yeah. You just sit there, you look at the blue line, and you know you're good.
Absolutely.
Whereas the routines and rhythms of navigating celestially are 24/7 non-stop.
Yeah.
Like you have to write down every time, every hour, every so often, you've got to write down which direction you're going. So you've got your dead reckoning, you've got to plan your sights, and so actually you can't be so lazy. Yeah. I think in this, you have to be a better seaman, and that's what, I think that brings me joy. Maps bring me joy.
Yeah.
And I think I've never celestially navigated properly.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I can do it. I've proven it, but I've never not had GPS.
No.
And I think, for me, I think the point of satisfaction will be that finish line if I get there. Touch wood. But really, my first landfall. So hopefully Punta Delgada at the top of Lanzarote.
Yeah.
Like that would be my first landfall I've ever made without GPS.
Yeah.
That's a big moment. You've done it. You've done that with a sextant and a map. That's cool.
Yeah, cool.
Boy,
you keep this conversation going. Turn your brain down. That's a really good line because I know what it's like. I use 8-hour blocks as the. Geez, if I was working a normal job, that was the whole day gone, and I could sit in the cockpit for 8 hours and just stare at the horizon. Yeah, you keep active. Anyway, that's cool. All right, well, look, really good to chat. I like the boat. I like what you're doing. I think you're a hot prospect to gain the full benefit of what the GGR stands for. Whether or not you win the race doesn't matter, but I'm fully expecting to see you at the finish, touch wood, but we'll see. Okay, anything you want to wrap up with?
Not at all. Just No, I'm very, very happy to be here.
Yeah.
Especially, so I'm very grateful to my sponsors, Army Sport and Team Forces, because it's a big undertaking, and just at the Army generally, like there's a lot of moral support there that's important. And actually, I think all the skippers have this just with whether or not they're sponsored. It's a funny one that this is a single-handed endeavour.
Yeah.
But we're all sort of floating on this sea of support.
Absolutely.
And certainly I am, both my sponsors and my family and stuff.
What did your mum and dad do?
They're retired. My dad was in the Army, and my mum was an executive for Network Rail.
Oh, right. How far did your dad get in the Army? What was his...
he was a Royal Engineer. He's,
far out.
Yeah, he sort of... Yeah, there's two jobs, this there and the other.
Well, they must be thinking, this is fun. All right, well done. I'll try and squeeze this around here so we can shut it down. See you later, everybody. Thanks for that, Henry. That's really cool. Oops, Daisy. See you later. Thanks, mate. See you. Bye-bye.